Here's why you should overhead press. Dr. Pack here, the original doctor from Doctorville, USA, real place. Currently trying to recreate the fluff situation on top of my head, but I'm unable to do so, so no fluff. It stole the show from the last batch of videos.
What the f are you looking at?
Which shows what content, with the level of content that I'm producing. If a piece of fluff on my head is able to steal the show, then I don't know, silver linings, am I right? Here's why you should overhead press though. And this, yeah, it's not one of those late to the party videos because the overhead press was a bit of a thing. I am a huge fan of the overhead press. I do not bench, and here's the citation for my chest, a side camera as well. I have been blessed with solid chest genetics, and I obviously train my chest through other exercises, but my upper body exercise of choice is the overhead press. And here's why you should do it as well. So this is one of those videos where I tell you, hey, you should do whatever you like. And if you like the overhead press, do it. Although in many cases it may be suboptimal as far as shoulder growth goes, and there may be better choices, especially if you're doing a bunch of pressing that is targeting your front delts. It is totally fine to want to include some less optimal exercises in your program. You're still engaging in resistance training. You're still not missing out on much. And the amount of evidence we have on including the overhead press on a program versus not including it, and still doing your side laterals and whatever else upper body work you're doing. I have the literature right here in the form of a book that is called The Year of the Runways, and has nothing to do with what I just said, because there's no research looking at whether adding one exercise to your program is going to massively impact your gains, and spoiler alert, it's likely not going to do anything, especially for, well, not especially, for the majority of people. Obviously, if you're pressed for time and you're a powerlifter or a bodybuilder, or you're somebody who wants to maximize growth and you have only a few specific sessions that you can attend to, yes, doing other exercises that are just fun, probably not the best use of your time. However, you'd still see gains from those exercises. In theory, they could be suboptimal, meaning that you could be missing out on some growth on some muscle groups by, in my opinion, not an insane amount. So it's totally fine to want to, it's totally fine to overhead press. And this is the example I chose because that's my favorite upper body exercise, although it is not optimal, and on paper, you know, making bench my primary exercise could be, and pushing that would be more acceptable in certain circles than the overhead press. But the idea that I'm now missing out on a bunch of growth or wasting my time is just silly. Yes, hypothetically, other exercises are better for side delt growth than the overhead press, but adding a few sets of overhead press on top of your regular training, if you care about maximizing side lateral growth or whatever, totally fine. Same goes with every other exercise. If you want to have fun in the gym, have fun in the gym. If you're only having fun in the gym, you're still gonna make gains. Sure, if you're the guy that's now doing only overhead pressing, no other push exercise whatsoever, no direct tricep work, no direct delt work, sure, okay, that's an extreme scenario. But if you're just the average lifter who, hey, loves doing the overhead press or some form of cheat row and also does the rest of their workout, even if you miss out on a couple of sets here and there because you've spent some of your energy overhead pressing or doing some other exercise, that's fine. You are still going to make a ton of gains, and we are literally splitting hairs when overly losing our minds about exercise selection. Make sure that your exercise selection is in accordance to your goals, but if having fun and enjoying yourself in the gym is part of your goals, then by all means, have fun. Now, you have to weigh and sort of prioritize things based on your goals. So if like your main goal is to absolutely maximize growth and then have fun, obviously you can still do suboptimal exercises, but make sure to include them appropriately in your training program and to not prioritize them. But if you're like me, who, you know, you want to be jacked, you want to be wide, you want to be bigger than life, and at the same time, you like certain lifts because you just like how they feel, you can just throw those on top, prioritize them because you really enjoy them, accept that they're not ideal for some muscle groups, throw in that extra work for those muscle groups, like I personally have started doing more and more lateral raises, which are very time efficient and don't really feel like much work, especially after overhead pressing, and call it a day. It's totally fine. Get out of your own head when it comes to exercise selection and the idea that if you're doing some exercise that is not the thing right now on social media, that you're losing gains. Yes, in theory, you may be missing out on those few extra percentage points, but engaging in progressive resistance training over time and doing a plethora of exercises is what will get you jacked, not whether you did lateral raises for 8 sets versus 6 sets for those few months where you also wanted to overhead press. Get in the gym, have fun, lift stuff, stop overly worrying about minute details, unless, and this is the disclaimer, worrying about minute details and geeking out and absolutely optimizing is the way you have fun. I have clients who have straight up told me, I don't care, as my friend Todd Dorales would say, I don't care about having fun. I want to go in, do the most optimal training program on paper, pretend my life depends on gaining as much muscle as possible. Let's make every educated bet, even if some things are mostly based on speculation. And that's all I care about. I don't want to have fun. I don't want to do fun movements. I don't have fun with lifting weights. I just want to go from point A to point B. If you're that person, by all means. And if you're the person that has fun by optimizing, again, by all means. Everybody's welcome here. This is your safe space on the internet. So therefore, subscribe, hit the notification icon, hit the bell, hit your screen. I made that joke on a previous video or a future video if it hasn't been released out, but I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching again. Peace.